The Union Minister Nitin Gadkari today announced India's vehicle scrappage plan in the Lok Sabha. Now it's a plan which is going to actually affect lakhs of people across the country. Commercial and private vehicles will be deregistered after 15 and 20 years respectively. Their re-registration will be discouraged. He's also provided a tentative timeline for this proposed scrappage policy and said it will lead to a cleaner environment and increased road safety. Well, joining us now for his views on this very significant development, R.C. Bhargav, the chairman of Maruti Suzuki India. Thanks, sir, very much for being with us. You know, every now and again when we chat, sir, we talk about safety. Now, obviously, this is a great move for the environment, but how will this also enable India to have safer cars on the road?
You know, we have always been concentrating on ensuring that vehicles which are delivered to the customer meet all the safety regulations. And over the years, safety regulations have been tightened up, and we are now more or less at the same level as Europe, Euro 6. But what we have never adequately considered is the fact that delivering safe vehicles does not mean that the vehicles remain as safe over the 15-20 years that they are in active use. And it's a fact that over a few years, many of the features which provide for the safety of a vehicle get broken, become non-functional, something happens, and many customers don't bother too much about them. So I think the regulations which government now has told will come into force and the fitness requirements will ensure that not only safe vehicles are delivered to the customers, but over the life of the vehicles, the safety features are maintained. Maybe it won't be enough to say that this testing should be done at the end of 20 years. I think when the matter is detailed further as we go along and centers are put up and the infrastructure is built, the requirement of fitness will have to become more frequent to ensure that the citizens on the road are not endangered.
Yeah. And Mr. Bhargav, also ultimately it's about the environment as well. We will have cleaner cars on the road. Those cars which are old and are still on the road have been cleared for use. They've been re-registered after stringent tests. But the new cars which will be there will naturally be cleaner, so it's good for our environment as well.
Sure. I think it's a very positive step, except this is not going to come into existence for 3 years.
That's true. It won't. It's going to take some time. Thanks for pointing that out. But, and here's another point, and just off the top of my head, all of our residential colonies are littered with old cars which have been lying abandoned over there for a very long period of time. Nobody knows the owners, nobody knows the antecedents, whatever it is. But if there is a scrappage policy where an owner of a car gets an incentive to scrap the vehicle, either in cash or towards the purchase of another car, then we won't have this horrible sight of abandoned cars, you know, in our colonies. It opens up space. Parking is a nightmare in India.
No, you're absolutely correct. But what has been happening is that, you know, the recycling industry for cars, where the scrap vehicles are recycled and certain materials are recovered from industry, is a technology and an industry by its own. It is not developed in India because it requires a certain volume of scrap cars to be available to make the viability of the equipment exist. Now, the scrapping in India has been so limited in numbers that it has not been viable to put up an industry for scrap vehicles to be recycled. I think one of the offshoots of this policy which government has announced, once it actually comes into operation and vehicles are scrapped because they are unfit, will be that there will be the raw material availability for starting viable scrap recycling industries. So to create employment.
Yeah. So last word, sir, bottom line, better employment for you in the auto sector because there'll be newer cars, the demand will be fed, and better employment for those who deal with scrapped vehicles as well. A new industry by itself and cleaner cars also, and hopefully more space in our colonies. So it's a win-win, right?
Absolutely. Totally agree with you.
All right, so end of the day, if people get more jobs, that's also so welcome. The environment will be blessed with this move. Couldn't have come a day later. Thanks, sir, very much for being with us.
Thank you.